Hi, I'm Chris, and this is Type 2 Talk. I wanted to talk today about taking medication, and more specifically, are you going to be on this medication for the rest of your life? There's been a couple of people posting on the subreddit boards about how they don't want to be on medication for the rest of their lives. They don't want to be dependent on it. And to that, I would respond with, you probably need to be on this medication, and yes, you probably are going to be on it for the rest of your life, and yes, you're probably going to be dependent on it for the rest of your life. Type 2 diabetes is insulin resistance to the level where your body cannot manage its blood sugars effectively. It's not just, oh, it's not doing a very good job. It's doing a really crappy job. Given that, take it seriously. Last year, my new doctor that I got put me on a low dose of metformin, extended release, because I was pre-diabetic and my numbers hadn't really budged in a few years. And he said, hey, you know what, let's do something about that. Let's try to improve the number. And instead, my number actually went the opposite direction. He upped my metformin to 2,000 milligrams a day, and we got me up there. It took about a month to get up there because you don't just go up all at once. But yes, I'm going to be on metformin for probably the rest of my life. And I asked him, am I going to be on this? How would I get off? I always ask my doctors, if I needed to stop this medication, how would I get off, and when would that make sense? And he said, if you kept your numbers stable and you wanted to come off of it, then he and I would work together, slowly wean me off of it, monitoring my A1C every quarter to see if I'm still able to manage it without it. And he said, yes, it is possible. It's not likely, but it is absolutely possible. And I'm also on a statin. I was put on a statin because of my type 2 diabetes and the fact that my cholesterol numbers otherwise just aren't getting any better. Other than my triglycerides, which oddly enough got much better, the rest of my cholesterol numbers weren't really getting any better. He put me on the statin and I asked, am I going to be on this for the rest of my life? And how would I get off of it? And he said, yes, you're probably going to be on it for the rest of your life. To be perfectly honest, once you go on a statin, you generally are not going to come off. And he said, we could take you off of it, but it generally wouldn't make sense. They're very well studied, both statins and metformin, very well studied, very well understood in the medical industry, and we have decades of data showing that they're perfectly safe and they are effective. Statins especially are considered safe for really anybody who has any condition that might affect their heart. He said, I would absolutely recommend that you keep taking your statin unless you're having a reaction or an allergy or something like that, and then come talk to us. Let's figure it out. We may need to put you on a different one. Same thing with metformin. I know one person who has an allergic reaction to metformin, so she doesn't take metformin. She went back to her doctor, and she's gonna have to take something else. But otherwise, trust that your doctor, if they're prescribing something, ask the questions. Ask questions like, why am I being put on this? What are ways I could get off of it? How long might I be on it? What might be a reason why I would get off of it? But at the same time, also trust that if they are prescribing it, they are probably prescribing it for a good reason. Ask them to explain the reason, but then in the end, recognize they probably have more knowledge about this than you do. So trust that, and then confirm it with your body, confirm it with your numbers. And then if your numbers aren't changing the way that you think and your doctor thinks that they're supposed to, go back to your doctor and say, hey, you know what? This was supposed to improve my A1C. This was supposed to improve my blood sugars. This is supposed to help me lose weight. Doesn't seem to be working, because guess what? Not every drug works the same for everybody. You might take Ozempic and might not really lose any weight. And you might need to be on some other weight loss drug or some other diabetes drug. Or it might be that there is something else in your life that has to change, whether it's diet or exercise, stress, sleeping. There's a million little things that might affect that, and your doctor is going to have to look at each of these variables and then figure out, what do we need to change here to get you to the point where you are healthy. So those are my thoughts. Love to hear what you guys think. Talk to you later.